Starting off, I've got the WS6 Trans Am. The 1993 redesign of the Trans Am was a fall from grace from the muscular first three generations. The interior was some of GM's cheapest work yet, and it didn't help that America was spoiled with better looking performance cars. By the late 90s, stuff like the C8 Corvette and Dodge Viper made the Trans Am look like the weird cousin nobody wanted. Then depreciation made things even worse. By the 2000s, F-bodies had developed the redneck trailer park stigma. Somehow, Pontiac went from building one of America's most iconic sports cars to building the preferred transportation of... So why do these things suddenly look so cool? Well, Pontiac has been dead for almost 16 years. V8 rear-wheel drive manuals are disappearing, and underneath all that questionable plastic, the WS6 had an LS1, basically a Corvette V8. It did 0 to 60 in around 5 seconds, and while that might not impress the Stage 3 B58 kids, speed isn't really why people buy these anymore. It's the experience. The massive hood, 4 nostrils, and old school V8 exhaust note just feel like what a muscle car should feel like. And the Trans Ams that haven't been sent to the scrapyard in exchange for a 6-pack are becoming genuinely desirable. Everything that looked excessive and gaudy 20 years ago now just makes them even cooler. And when half the cars around you look like my fridge on wheels, a bright red Pontiac with pop-up headlights that sounds like it came straight out of hell suddenly doesn't look ugly. It looks unapologetically badass. And if you think people hated the Trans Am's looks, Porsche managed to piss off their fans just by building an SUV. Next, I've got the first gen Porsche Cayenne. Despite the popularity super SUVs like the Urus seem to have today, when the Cayenne arrived in 2003, Porsche fans thought it was the end of the world. Frankly, I don't blame them. It looked like the Germans put a 911 on a dirty bulk and gave it a botched Botox job. But the bigger problem was what it represented. The company known for lightweight sports cars had just built a massive SUV, something almost as bad as not liking this video and subscribing for more. A next essential betrayal of the brand, if you will. Is it beautiful? No, but everything underneath that bloated face has aged ridiculously well. If you can find one that's actually been maintained, keyword if, you can get a 450 plus horsepower twin turbo V8 grocery getter for around 10 to 15 grand. And somehow going fast isn't even what it does best. Unlike most modern crossovers, these were legitimately built to go off-road, with low-range gearing, locking differentials, and serious off-road capability. But there's an even bigger reason we've probably been too harsh on it. While purists worried the first sports SUV would destroy Porsche, it became a massive sales success and kinda saved the company's finances. Meaning the ugly SUV fans never wanted helped fund the 911s and GT programs that they did want. So I guess the Cayenne was a blessing in a very strange disguise. And if there's one company that proves car guys eventually forgive questionable design choices, it's BMW. At 3, I've got the G80 M3. I fondly remember how the entire car community came together in 2020 for one common cause: hating on this thing. And honestly, I get it. The massive beaver grille was hilarious, and compared to the muscular, clean F80, it looked like BMW had completely lost the plot. Companies like Astro were basically handed a business opportunity just by making the front end look normal again. But there was one problem with hating the G80. It was just really good. The performance was a massive step up. The S58 turned out to be an absolute monster, and today it's arguably the best bang for your buck performance car money can buy. Eventually, people just got used to the face, I guess. Some even started liking it, and we're already seeing history repeat itself. With the LCI replacement of the iconic angel eyes for the snake eye headlight, people flamed those too, but give it a little time and suddenly they don't look so bad. Which brings us to the next M3. The early leaks are a far cry from the F80 era, but this time people almost seem prepared for it. After watching the G80 go from BMW ruin the M3 to one of the most glazed cars on the internet, I've learned my lesson. I'm just gonna assume the new one will probably grow on me too, and apparently BMW didn't even need to put its own badge on a car to piss people off. Here's where I have the GR Supra. Here's where love turned to hate and then somehow back to love again. When Toyota first teased the new Supra, it was like Christmas came early. A cultural icon that sparked my obsession in the first place was finally coming back. An exotic looking car normal people could actually dream of owning. And then everyone found out what was underneath it. a BMW. As if Toyota was rubbing it in, the production car looked nothing like the FT1 concept. Next, people found out it was a Z4 with a Toyota badge, a German engine in a Japanese car, the antithesis of what a Toyota should be, reliable. The Mark V Supra would share the Z4's platform, B58, transmission, suspension, and electronics, and even be built in the same Magna Steyr factory. It made no sense, but then owners started building them, and it turned out the B58 wasn't just reliable, it was a sleeping giant. With a couple mods and a tune, you could make crazy power without spending crazy money. Suddenly, the thing everyone mocked for being a BMW became desirable because it was a BMW. Today, the Mark V is one of the best entry points into serious performance, and ironically, the thing that almost ruined its reputation became one of the biggest reasons people love it. The problem wasn't that Toyota built a bad Supra. Everyone had already just decided what a Supra was supposed to be. And if there's one fan base that really knows what their sports car is supposed to be, it's Corvette owners. C8 Corvette. The C7 is still one of the most loved Corvettes ever, so when Chevy revealed its replacement, the old heads were practically foaming at the mouth. It carried the Corvette name, but everything else felt like an April Fool's prank. The engine was behind the driver, there was no manual, and the styling had your mom asking you if you finally bought a Ferrari. Chevrolet had just thrown 66 years of front-engine tradition and those classic long hood proportions straight out the window. And when Trump said he wanted to build a wall, I wasn't expecting it to be a wall of buttons running through the middle of the cockpit. But then people actually saw what Chevy had cooked up here. The C7 versus C8 debate is still alive and well, but it's hard to hate a car that'll do 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds, looks like an exotic, and costs a fraction of one. For regular people, it might as well be a Ferrari, and with the new ZR1X going toe-to-toe with Koenigsegg's, there's clearly a reason Chevy threw 66 years of tradition out the window. It might not feel like the Corvette we grew up with, but that's because Chevy stopped trying to build the best Corvettes and started trying to build an American supercar. If I missed any, I'd love to hear it down below. Until next time, see ya.